What's up, everybody? You are back on the other side with me, Mike G, and today's guest is a bare knuckle fighter who is a storm in human form. But what sets him apart isn't his power in the ring, it's the fire in his soul, the calm in his chaos, and the way he carries his scars with pride. He's a man on a mission, built different and built for war. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my great honor to introduce to you the BKFC badass himself, Carlos Trinidad-SNAKE. How's it going, Carlos?
Hey, what's up? How you doing, brother?
I'm
Good.
doing well.
Good to be here.
Thank you so much. Sorry I stumbled over my words. I warned you that might happen.
Nah, you're fine. You're fine.
What is your earliest memory of combat sports or fighting?
Combat sports or fighting? Let's see. I think I can remember getting in a fight when I was in the second grade at recess. That's probably the first memory of fighting.
Okay.
Um, Combat sports. It was a week after I turned 18. I was still a little chubby. I think I fought at like heavyweight, light heavyweight, one of the two, and didn't really go my way. I think I got choked out in like a minute. So those are my two earliest experiences of fighting. But
Okay.
the first one in MMA, losing, uh, getting submitted, definitely helped elevate my game and let me know what I needed to work on to get better for sure.
You learn more from your losses than your wins.
Always.
Yeah. All right. You mentioned MMA. I know you've had like 20 or so MMA fights. What is your favorite thing about MMA, and do you plan on doing it again?
My favorite thing about MMA is just such a chess match. You know, there's a thousand more ways to win and lose, and so
Yeah.
uh, I just feel like it's more strategic kind of fighting. You know, and
Okay.
that's why I like it. I've trained MMA since I want to say 17, 16. So it's just what I've done. But when I started doing the bare knuckle, I kind of just took off in the bare knuckle, and so that's just kind of why I've stayed on this side. But
Hmm.
I'm always looking to get back to MMA. You know, I'm definitely I do feel like when I do fight MMA and I have more of an audience now,
Hmm.
they'll definitely see that I got the skills for both of it.
All right. Do you have one of the contracts where you can fight outside of the BKFC as long as it's not bare knuckle?
I'm not sure right now.
Okay.
You know, I let my agent handle all that.
Okay.
If there's something that needs to be said, she'll tell me.
I understand. Gotcha. Talk about the first time you witnessed bare knuckle fighting, and did you know right away this is what I want to do?
Yeah, I think the first time I watched was the Artem Lobov and Jason Knight fight,
Hmm.
and I didn't watch any of the other card, but I do remember wanting to watch that fight. So I watched that fight, and I was like,
Wow.
I want to. Yeah, I think I was still like 21 or
Hmm.
22, and I was like, dude, I want to try this, and so. But I didn't go pro till I was 23, so I think I want to say I started when I was 25 doing the bare knuckle. But everybody said it was more of like an older man sport, retired fighters and stuff like
Hmm.
that. But I don't know. I just I got that dog in me. I felt like I could do this, and I felt like it was also very brand new to where if you wanted to,
Hmm.
you can make a splash and take off, and that's literally what I
Yeah.
did. I was a young guy. I jumped in the sport. Um, Now I feel like it's expanded way more. Everybody wants to try it,
Hmm.
so just gotta work a little bit harder to stay at the top
Yeah. You got in when it was a good time.
for sure.
All right. Tell me about finding out that you were going to be competing in the BKFC.
Um, I think I just got done with practice, and my coach told me he's like, "Hey, we got the fight," and
Okay.
I remember asking him to fight bare knuckle, and he told me, we'll see." And I think they came to like Kansas, which was closer, as close as they got to me. And I was honestly waiting for them to go back to Kansas. And then I don't know, they just said, boom, coming to Omaha. And I was like, for sure, I'm jumping on the card. And so uh, at that time, I've had a lot of fights. I've had over 21 amateur fights, and I had maybe like 2 or 3 pro fights at that time. So all the promoters around here, I was pretty cool with. So it was pretty easy to get on the card, and you know, that's
Okay.
just how it started.
All right. What goes on in the mind of a fighter as you're walking to the ring to toe the line for the first time?
First time,
Is it,
the
oh
first
shit?
time.
Is it, let's go? Is it your whole life?
No, it's you know, I the first time I felt like I wanted to make a good impression. Uh, I wanted to make, like I said, make the splash. And was I nervous? I don't want to say I was nervous, but I was more anticipating it. I
Hmm.
remember telling in my like interview saying that I was like, I just want the war, like, I want a dog fight.
Hmm.
And Noah Cutter, he's always in some wars, he's in
Hmm.
the dog fight. So I thought he would put up more of a fight, but I don't know, it just happened kind of quick.
You mentioned Noah. That was the first fight I wanted to talk about. Walk me through the full 38-second fight and what it felt like to get a debut victory in your in hometown.
Yeah. Uh so let's say the fight started and I felt like I was kind of overzealous and he just kind of cracked me. He was the first one to hit me. And but it kind of just made me like, snap out of it a little bit,
Mhm.
be a little more strategic with my reach, my range. And I just started picking my shots right away. And I was just like, I was more hungry than he was. I felt like he had that was his fourth bare knuckle fight at the time.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I don't know. I just knew I had to make a good impression. So that was the only thing on my mind. And it didn't matter if it went 1 round or 5 rounds, it was gonna be a good fight either way.
Gotcha. All right. I wanted to talk a little bit about your 2023 fight with Elvin Brito. What were your thoughts on him as a fighter going into training camp? And did he represent a jump up in competition?
You know what? I felt like Elvin Brito was kind of short, super nice guy, super cool dude. That's
Hmm.
that's my boy. Uh,
Madman.
but I kind of just thought he was a little bit short for me. Like I said, I'm just super tall. I'm not
Hmm.
super tall, but I'm taller, and my range is just way longer. He did have a unique style. I'll give him that, and I felt like that's kind of what of all my fights. I felt like that was probably one of the more fast-paced ones. He does move around a lot. He throws a lot, and so I felt like I had to be a little bit more strategic on that one. Uh, it was a good fight. It was. It's probably the first person I want to say to really hit me in the bare knuckle. I don't remember like ever really getting hit, but I remember
Right.
he cut me off a punch, and I was like, yeah, he's probably the first person to really hit me.
Okay. Um, the next fight I want to highlight is your victory over Dustin Paig. Walk me through your performance that night, and is it difficult for you to get pumped up to fight someone who's as nice a guy as the Disciple?
Let's see. That one, that was a good fight. It didn't last too long, but it was a great fight in my opinion. He was a game opponent. He obviously came to win, and it kind of just proved to everybody else, that I was a real threat. Um, he was a super nice guy, but I definitely don't have a problem flipping the switch once I get in the fight. We definitely laughed it off afterwards. He's like I said, he's a super cool dude.
Hmm.
But at the end of the day, there can only be one winner, and I always want it to be me. Uh,
Absolutely.
as far as you know, him breaking his jaw, it was just kind of like a freak thing. Nobody goes in
Hmm.
there and plans and says like, "I'm gonna break his jaw." you know,
Yeah.
they can say it, but they probably don't know they're gonna actually do it.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I just see with a guy like Dustin Peg, he's if you're not backing him up, or applying pressure to him, he's definitely going to come put the pressure on you, and you're going to eat those shots. So I think that's what happened. He definitely came in to my range. I hit him with an uppercut. Uh, Same thing, but he was like, I just used my range really well and my counters.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I want to move on to your most recent fight and ask a couple questions about it. My first one is, what is Dubai like?
Um, Dubai is beautiful. I got nothing but great things to say about Dubai. I love Dubai. Uh, the hospitality was amazing. The food was amazing. The people, uh, everything, the culture, the architecture out there. It's just everything was beautiful. Um, yeah, it was just all overall a great trip. I was out there like 3 weeks,
Oh,
and
wow.
I just I don't even know what to say. There's just not a bad thing to say about them. There's so many good things to say about them. I did a lot over there, met a lot of nice people, some of the nicest people I've ever met in Dubai. Like I said, some of the best food I ever ate was in Dubai. It was a great time. Uh, it was definitely an eye opener experience too. The food over there is a lot more like organic, pure.
Hmm.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
so I felt like I was over there to go fight, and I was cutting weight, but at the same time, I'm still eating 3, 4 times a day, fresh salads,
Mhm.
kebabs, everything is, and it was just a great time. I had a blast over there. I was over there obviously on business,
Hmm.
but at the same time, it was hard not to enjoy myself when you're out there. It's such a beautiful place, and I can't. I hope they bring me back to Dubai. I can't wait to go back.
Yeah. I've heard it described as a vacation from the real world. Is that accurate?
Yeah, you could say that. Honestly,
Okay.
it's like I said, when I say it, like an eye opener, and like you're just like everything's a little bit more pure. Like I'm sure it's like that in other places of the world, but that's probably the first place that I went where, like I said, the food was different. You could see uh, there wasn't really dyes and stuff like that in the food.
Hmm.
So, like, and the same food that we have here. So it was just kind of like like I said, an eye opener, and
Gotcha. Yeah.
kind of definitely changed up, a little bit how you ate, and it was just, it was cool. It was a great time, man.
Whole different world. All right, let's talk about the fight. Your opponent, Austin Trout, former boxing champion of the world. He's the champion in the BKFC in your weight class at the time. How did you view him as an opponent going in, and kind of what was the game plan?
How did I view him as an opponent? I just viewed him as like a regular guy, dude. I feel like everybody else, they get caught up in the image, and I don't really worry about that. It doesn't matter to me. That's an old man. That's all he was to me. Like I said, he was old and ugly, and that's all it was. And you know, he's a cool dude.
Right.
but that was just how I viewed him going up into the fight. And then, what was the second question again? I'm sorry.
Oh, how did you? What was the game plan going in? How were you going to win?
What was the game plan? Let's see. The game plan was obviously to win. You know,
Right.
uh, I don't, I don't want to say like, I went in there with any specific technique or anything like that. I hear a lot of people say like, oh, you didn't throw your uppercut or something, but the uppercut was never, you know, like my main punch. It just happened to be the punch that I put everybody down with.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. It was game plan was just to go in there and win, obviously, and I felt like I did win at the end of the day. I don't really feel uh like I lost. Obviously, I feel like if I was knocked out or I got TKO'd, I got a doctor stoppage or something, I could feel like I took a loss.
Hmm.
But at the end of the day, like I still don't feel like I lost. I honestly, I dropped him. you know.
Yeah.
Dropped him. I felt like I beat him on the punch count. You know, I felt like I won the sudden death round, and it is what it is. You know, I definitely won't let it deter me, but I know what to do on the next time when I get the chance.
So I'm guessing you were surprised at the end of the fifth round when they said we're going to go to a sixth one.
Um, Not really. No.
Okay.
You know, I felt like the crazy thing is, I remember walking to the venue, and when I got to the venue, I remember seeing like one of the workers obviously bringing in the round, like little cards for the
Hmm.
rounds, and then the one on the end said round six, and I remember thinking in my head, and I was like, round six? When did they ever use round six?
Hmm.
And it was kind of funny because I remember thinking that, and then at the end of the fight, they're like, "We're going to round six," and I was just like, "Oh
Hmm.
man!" I was just thinking, like, when did they go to round six?
Hmm.
But so I honestly, like, I kind of expected it. I wasn't really like too shocked by it. But then I was shocked that they thought it was like a draw, I guess, because I assume that's what it is when you go to the sixth round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was surprised at the end of the fifth that they went to a sixth, and even more surprised at the end of the sixth when he was announced the winner. No disrespect to Austin at all. I feel like you won that fight.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Um, let's see here. Uh, what, if anything, can you take away with you going forward after going through a loss like that, where you don't really feel like you lost? How does that play into the mind of a fighter? I know how fighters view wins and losses, but ones where you don't agree with the outcome. How do you handle those?
I just go for it, man. I'm just kind of go with the flow. I don't really. It's definitely not something that weighs on my mind or anything like that. I just on to the next one, on to the next
Brush it
one.
off.
Keep going, do what I do. Don't let it deter me. You know, I'm always climbing to the top. Once I get to the top, I'll still keep climbing.
Hell yeah, that's awesome, man. Um, I wanted to ask you about this because I think it's extremely important, and I've been told I'm like 128th Cherokee on my dad's side. What's it like leading the charge in the BKFC for Native American fighters?
Uh, you know, it feels good. You know, I feel like I'm definitely finally getting a little bit of recognition. Uh, I don't I don't really. I know that there's a lot of Native American fighters in the BKFC. I don't really know their names a lot, but I know they're not at, like, number one or number two at the moment.
Hmm.
So it definitely feels good to lead the charge. I definitely I want to see every one of them strive to be the best and be at the top. But if they can't make it, I'll definitely hold it down up here for sure.
Yeah,
And
there's something special about you because there are other people in the fight game and in bare knuckle with Native American roots, but for whatever reason it is, you people view you as the face of that. So whatever that is, congratulations on having it.
yeah, no, for sure. I definitely when before the bare knuckle started, um, so I didn't really use snake. It's always been on, like, it's on my ID, everything, Trinidad Snake. But I would always just write Trinidad. I kind of felt like it was super long, and then as a kid growing up, I didn't really use it. And so, but actually, what happened was my grandma, she passed away before I fought the first bare knuckle fight, and
Hmm.
so I wanted to, like, use her, obviously use her name more. And
Honor
so
her.
I put Snake back on the thing, and I remember walking out for the first bare knuckle fight, and they asked me, "What name do you want to use, like Trinidad or Trinidad Snake?" And I was like, "Trinidad Snake. I want the whole thing." And then ever since then, it's eye catching. It's
Hmm.
something that people, like, what does that mean? Like, is that nickname? It's just something that, like I said, they resonate with.
Hmm.
and it's definitely helped my career in the long run for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I'm all about honoring our descendants, so I love that. Look into the future for me for a minute. Where do you see yourself as a fighter and a man in 10 years?
Fighter and a man in 10 years. Let's see. Well, 29. So at 39,
Ooh.
I would hope to be fighting. I would hope to be fighting. Uh, I'd be hope to be successful in fighting. I know a lot of fighters say they can and they will be successful, but now it's tough to get to the top to actually get paid some decent money, in the fight game. And it
Yep.
doesn't matter what you're doing, if you're boxing or MMA or bare knuckle, you don't just go in there, win a fight, and get paid a bunch of money. You don't just go in there, lose fights, and they're gonna pay you money.
Hmm.
So it's uh it's definitely a tough road, for sure. But I feel like I can be successful at the end of it all. And in 10 years, I will be successful.
10 years, you'll be one of those old BKFC guys you were talking about earlier.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully not, hopefully not.
Wouldn't that be
I don't
wild to look
want,
back on?
yeah. I think, yeah, I don't know. Hopefully in 10 years, I can expand my MMA career a little bit,
Hmm.
maybe do something over there on that side.
Okay. All right. For anyone watching who might be going through a tough loss or looking for some positivity, what message can you share about not giving up and fighting on?
Oh, man. Just definitely don't give up. Uh, Always keep moving forward, believe in yourself, set goals, you know, work to achieve those goals. And then when you meet those goals, make new ones. Always strive to be better than the last day, and you can always improve. So
Hmm.
never give up and always believe in yourself.
Absolutely, man. I love that. Uh, what can BKFC fans expect to see next time you enter the squared circle?
I'm definitely gonna knock somebody out. It doesn't matter who it is, but I'm gonna finish them this time, and I'm gonna show why I'm the best in 165. I'm still the best at 165. I'll always be the best at 165, and
I agree.
I'll remind them in the next fight, 100%.
Hell yeah, man. What is the best way for fans and friends of yours to keep up with you and everything you have going on these days?
Just follow me on Instagram, Trinidad-SNAKE. Post most of my stuff up there, and just wait for the next one.
Absolutely. Carlos, is there anything else you want to share? I am out of questions, sir.
No, not too much. Thanks for the opportunity to have me on here. Talk a little bit
You,
about my
sir.
fights and career. So thanks for having me,
Awesome,
Mike.
man. Thank you for and people won't know what I mean here, but you will. Thank you for giving me a second chance. Um, I appreciate that very much. You allowed me
No,
the opportunity to grow some more, and I'm grateful to you for that forever. I will upload this to YouTube. As soon as it uploads, I'll send you the first copy. If for any reason you don't like it, let me know and I will take it down.
no problem. I appreciate you, Mike. Thank you.
I appreciate you. Much love and respect, brother, and I hope to see you at the
Have a
fights
good
one
day.
night. Take care.